Come along with me as we change this here store-bought gnome with a bird into a painted gnome, slightly altered bird. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. And today, like I've already said, we're painting a gnome. Now it's pretty fast and furious. So, yeah. If you want to, you can find your little gear, the cog. If your device happens to have that availability to it, you can slow down the video. Okay? What you may want to do, especially when we're doing the blendy shadowing kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up front. Okay, we're not even a full minute. Well, we are a full minute into the video. If you really want to see how to do shading and that kind of stuff on this here kind of 3D thing, which pretty much transfers over onto flat surfaces as well, 2D stuff, I want to recommend you go check out Barb Owen, How to Get Creative with Barb Owen. Okay, I will link to her channel in the upper right hand corner and in the description box below, because as far as I'm concerned, she is a master at chasing that edge. Okay, I just play with it, but I like my way, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with my way. It's just hers is actually better. Oh, heat gun, y'all. There will be heat gun off and on, and I may or may not say heat gun, y'all, when we get to those parts, especially since I know it annoys people. Whatever, y'all. Anyway, we will put one whole coat of each color section, and then I will put a second coat, heat gun, y'all, which you may or may not see fully. And I didn't necessarily want black boots, so he's going to get brown boots. And we start off with this here. Oh, it might be burnt umber. There is a list of ingredients in the description box below. However, I have a little disclaimer. I did not list out each individual color nor its specific craft paint brand. Okay? I have no allegiance to any of them. None of them sponsor me. Not that they have to, but there are some paints I like better than others, some brands. But when it comes to sales and purchase price, money does my talking. Anyhoots, we are also going to paint his hands, aka gloved hands, because we're going along with, this is a wintertime gnome. Okay, it can be a springtime gnome as well. And I did talk to my husband about what color to paint the gnome. So I was going to go total Christmas colors, and then I thought, oh, but I like the blue winteries too. Oh, but he doesn't have to be either one of those. He could be a fall gnome. Brown and green's kind of fallish too as well, So, yeah. Green is spring too. So, yeah. It's just, hey, whatever color. And we both discussed it, and I was leaning towards green, and he says, I would think I would kind of like to see it green. And I'm like, well, okay. And I said, because that's exactly the color I was thinking about. So that's why we're going to green one. It's very versatile, in my opinion. Now, this here is dragonfly glaze. I believe, I don't know who made it. Anyway, it has a clear base, but it has a colored mica in it, and I believe this particular one is red. It may be red gold kind of thing. Not really sure. Don't have the bottle in front of me. And we are layering up, and we will be creating a fair amount of depth to his leather boots and his little leather gloves. So yeah. And as you may or may not know, as you're painting and as you're doing pretty much any art and or craft project, if you will, you kind of have a push and a pull with the light and the darks and shades and this and that and t'others. So I'm thinking, well, that brown is awful dark. Let's lighten it up. So I got a tan colored craft paint and mixed it in with the previous brown. And I also added in a little bit of the dragonfly glaze just to add a bit of that back in there. And we are painting over the whole thing again. I am extremely happy with the brown we ended up with on his shoes, boots, and gloves. Okay? Okay. So basically I am trying not to get my colors onto the other areas, because it kind of changes, the outcome when you overlap colors, so to speak. I'm not being overly careful, but I'm being kind of careful, y'all. In most of the video, all of the video, with the exception of a few places, have been extremely sped up, okay? Because I painted on this gnome off and on probably all day. Well, maybe not all day, but sort of. Because sometimes, even though I'm using a heat gun, y'all, you still need to walk away and let things dry, because this is some kind of a resin. I don't know what kind of resin it is, some kind of plasticky stuff. And sometimes when you're painting on that, it will try to lift itself back off on occasion, okay? So you kind of got to be the judge and go, okay, well, I'm going to step away. I'm going to go get me a snack, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever. That kind of thing. We go chit-chat on the phone, check out some YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff. Go see what Barb ends up to. Junk like that. So, Anyhoots, yeah, I'm coating over the whole thing, and we will do some shading on I know I mentioned that. And yeah. And I am coming around the back part of his britches down there, because I want just a little bit of the bottom of his shoes to show up. Boots, whatever they are, y'all. They're boots. They don't have any shoestrings, so it's got to be a boot. I know some boots tie up too. I am aware of that, y'all. Thank you for pointing it out. Here we go with black, and I'm trying to stick with the creases. I'm using a very tiny brush. Just adding some shading so we have a little variation. And of course, it will end, because it's a 3D item. It all depends on where you set it and what kind of light shining on it as to, real shading is going to be happening, shadowing, and so forth. So yeah, we're not 10 minutes in, and I have probably pretty much almost told you everything you need to know. Might want to know. I don't know. And yeah, I've not painted his little beard or his little bird yet. We will get there. Oh, we're gonna do his nose. I'm like, well, I'm Caucasian. Not everybody in my family's Caucasian, but this one's Caucasian. So he's getting a little flesh, Caucasian colored flesh, y'all. That is so old term, isn't it? Nose. And I thought, well, I really want some pink on there because it's cold. It's not cold here, y'all. It doesn't get, well, sometimes it gets cold. Not quite that cold. Anyway, I thought I want his nose a little bit pink. So we put some of that on there. Hey, can y'all. And I am trying to dry, but trying not to get it so hot that the paint's going to blister, because that will happen. Your acrylic paints will bubble in what we call blister, okay? Because the undercoat is not 100% dry, and steam can form between the layers, okay? Just saying. I didn't want that. So now I've gotten a darker green out, and it looks, and I'm pretty happy with the darker green on there. But I will add some of the black shadowing as well because I want it darker. And I'm also going to make his breeches. This is a he, y'all. He's got a beard, obviously. It's a he. If it was a girl, she'd have all this long hair all hanging out. Anyway, we're going to be adding black and smooshing that around and using water to thin that out. And his pants end up looking like he may have walked through the woods, or a little mud going on out there in the wet Texas, dirt kind of stuff. Not West Texas, wet Texas dirt. We've had some humidity. Oh, thank goodness, because, man, we were droughting big time because we didn't get no rain since September. Was it September? Yeah, we didn't get no rain. Anyway, so it is a little wet today now, dampish humidity. We got it back. So I'm adding shading, and under the arms, around the arms, underneath the fuzzy trim on his hat. No, it is not currently fuzzy. It will be fuzzy, y'all, and I cannot tell you how pleased I am with this fuzzy hat trim. Okay. Oh, y'all, gotta love this. I'm so pleased, y'all. It was like, wow, that was even way more butter than I expected. I know. Now you want to zoom forward and go find that part, don't you? Anyway, we're still shading around, and we will put some black here and there as well. And could I have cut more of this out for your viewing pleasure and my voiceover ease? Probably. Because we are now 12 minutes into the video. But who's keeping time besides me? That's what I thought. So there will be some sections where you're thinking, ooh, that is very splotchy looking. And I agree. There's some places, like right now, when you look at his breeches upside down like that, you're like, oh, girl, that looks not good. It will. It will. And I go back over his boots, and I'm not sure if I actually filmed the rest of the part on his boots. I may have. I don't know, y'all. Because there's a little section later on, and we had some appointments. You know how it is around our house. It's just always something going on. So, stop and start sometimes. Well, at the end of this day, I had to stop because we had a lot of appointments the other day, but that allowed some drying time, so it's okay. Oh, and I didn't show this part, but I do seal him up with a spray varnish UV protective layer. He's not going to be outside though, y'all. He's an inside gnome, okay? He likes it all cozy up in here in the house with Molly and Champ looking at him and talking to him and stuff like that, because that's the way he likes it, okay? So, Anyhoots, I picked up this gnome from Aldi grocery store back midsummer-ish. It may have been early summer-ish. I don't know. With the intention of painting him for the winter, Christmas time. Anyway, even though it was summertime. Anyway, paint yours the way you want to. Pink? Okay, if you say so, Popo. So anyway, yeah, we're just painting along. This right here is color shift, and I believe it's a green gold. Oh, I love green gold. This really blends all that shadowing and all that colorizing, making his breeches look somewhat dirty-ish. It really brings all of that together. My opinion. You know what they say about those. Anyhoots. painting along very fastly. It's a bigger brush. And I am just painting out the lid and it's a very translucent as well. When you coat over the top of other things to kind of like make everything all the same sort of color, even though it's not the same color, you do want a transparent one. Otherwise, if you're using opaque, it's just going to cover up hickin' y'all. So here I am just painting around his fuzzy trim with some white acrylic paint, and I will paint his beard as well. This is where I'm going to start cutting different portions of the solid color painting out. That is a water brush. It comes in very handy when you're trying to remove a little paint that's on top, okay? You can also use a damp, not drippy wet, a damp paint brush and a paper towel, okay, to help not keep smooshing it around, to just actually remove some of that. Now we're painting the bird. I always knew this was going to be a cardinal, although I don't know what kind of technical bird it's supposed to be. It's going to be a cardinal. This is why I decided we were going to alter the bird, because I'm making it a cardinal. And I thought, well, you know, I know what they look like, but I pulled them up on the Google images, so I can like, oh yeah, definitely needs the orangey yellow beak, and definitely needs some black eyeliner, because they kind of got black eyeliner, sort of. And I knew it had feathers up, you know, that kind of stood up like a crown on the top of their head, and this bird doesn't have it. So it was about this time. I probably should have altered it before I painted it, but it was, you know, when I'm like, oh, he can, y'all, going to add that black on there. And I thought, well, it kind of really needs those feathers on top, because that really identifies it not just as a red bird, but as a cardinal, which happens to be the state bird of my home state, where I was birthed at. Okay? It's not the mockingbird. Is that a mockingbird? No. That's the Texas state bird. Cardinal's my birth state bird. Anyway, going along. Got out a teeny tiny piece of sculpty clay. That's the one you bake in the oven. I wasn't about to go get my oven down, my little toaster oven. Wasn't getting it down. Wasn't going to pop this in my big house oven, because it's a teeny tiny thing, not much bigger than a finger nickel. Okay? So I kind of smooshed it around to what I thought the top of his head, crown, feathers, going to kind of look like. I'm using tweezers. And I've got it, it's, you know, I used the heat gun to heat it up, to set it, okay? Because this will stay soft until it gets to whatever temperature makes it get hard, okay? Anyway, now I'm trying to trim away a little bit of the clay piece, just to make it look more resemblance of feathers. But you know what? In the end, I'm sitting over here on my sofa and looking towards the, you know, we've got like a table underneath the big old wall TV. You'd never know if it had little individual feathers or not. But, you know, I thought, okay, well, now how are we going to glue this on? I'm like, well, we're just going to use glossy accents. But first we have to unstick the bottle, because that's almost a given, right? Yeah, so we're going to stick that on there with glossy accents, and I'll let it dry for just a little bit. How long's a little bit? I don't know. It could have been 15 minutes. Could have been 5. And I know you can't see me painting the top of that bird's feather crown now. There, some of it, sort of. So we're doing that, and I will clean my brush, and I will get out the dragonfly glaze. This that same one we used on his boots and his gloves that's got the little red sheen in there. Yeah, translucent. Oh, but it just adds so much to this, y'all. And at one point, I added black diamonds to his eyes. Oh, now we're going to put his eye makeup. This is a girl. The girl cardinals are much brighter. No, the boy, I'm sorry, I'm confused. I'm so confused. What's new about that, APG? Nothing, absolutely nothing. The boy cardinals are smaller than the female cardinals. They are way more brightly colored. That's so they can draw attention away from the females and the nest, should they have to do that kind of thing. Anyway, they both get eye makeup. So we've gone around it with the blacks, watered down blacks, and a tiny brush, and now I'm adding the yellow to the beak because they got them yellow orange kind of beaks, y'all. And I went back over the eye a little bit with some more red paint because I'm like, oh, that's just too much. So anyway, it's not real precise. Now we're going to add the fuzzies to that fuzzy hat trim. Okay, this is the Sizzix Expand Paste. Y'all have seen me play with this before, and I really like it. And in this case, spectacular, y'all. Just spectacular. Wait till you see. Anyway, I've got a small palette knife, and I'm just using the tip of it, and I'm just tippy tapping some of that paste around. I went on the bottom side. Now I'm going on the middle part of the hat trim, and then I will flip them up right side up, and we will do the top part. Okay, so I did it like in 3 sections. Don't worry, we're going to have a close-up photo because I thought it was important for y'all to see this part, because I am just so stinking happy with how the hat trim came out. Oh, I'm really happy how the whole thing came out, but really, y'all, wait till y'all see this. It's like super cool. I guess I could have cut some of that out, but no. And I'm just tapping around, and I'm going to leave that out. I'm closing it, but I'm going to leave it out because we've got to get the heat gun. Oh, here's how it looks while it's still wet. Okay? That's what it looks like. Dabbled. Okay? Now we're going to get the heat gun, and we're going to heat that up because that's what makes this expand paste expand. Okay? Yes. And I know it may be hard to see because my tiny editing screen. You know how that goes. Anyway, heating it up, trying to heat up around the bottom the same way you applied it, with the bottom, the middle, the top kind of thing. And even if this is dry, if you come back later with the heat, it will puff up. Just saying. Oh. Okay, pictures again. Look at that. How cool is that? Doesn't that just look like fuzzy hat trim? Perfect. Okay, so we was at the Walmarts over the weekend, and they got everybody got their Christmas stuff out. If not, they're losing sales. And I saw these antlers hanging there in the ornament section, and I thought, I love them. And those would go on my little gnome perfectly. They're a little heavy. And, you know, they are the exact same antler. You don't have to cut antlers off of the deers to get antlers. They naturally shed them every year. Anyway, I'm putting on Aleene's Tack It over and over. It is this boogery gummy stuff. Y'all know what it is. And it will glue things together, but it will also work as a removable sticky thing. Okay? So I'm putting it on there pretty thick. Here's a close-up picture because I knew you'd be interested. That's what it looks like wet. Once it gets dry, it's clear. This is also our flip-flop section of the video. See, look. Now, they are kind of heavy, but, you know, and I put a lot on there, and that's why that part's kind of cloudy looking, because I really put a lot on there. And like I said, they're the exact same antlers, whereas they should have been opposites, like your hands. You know, you have a thumb, and they're opposite each other, that kind of thing. But, you know, whatever. It's just a fun little gnome, right? Right. So there we are. We're sticking them on. See? Oh, it's so cute. Oh, y'all. Okay. Gotta adjust him. He's so cute. Look at our little gnome. Ta-da! Photo montage. Just a reminder of what we started with. A little white resin gnome of some sort resin. And here we go with our regular photo montage. Look, I'm so happy with our silly little bird. He might not be a technical cardinal, but he's a technical cardinal now. And I'll tell you what, that translucent color shift green that we put on there, I think it's green gold, I don't know. I don't know. Perfect. Look at him. It's hard to take pictures of a 3D thing sometimes. Look at his little antlers. So they're removable because they can be on there or they might not be on there. Depends on the mood. I think for the holidays, he will have his horns. And for the not holidays, he will not have his horns. And with that, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for watching. And happy arting, y'all.